Hi guys, it's Granny Tana speaking. Welcome to this video about the next farming simulator. I'll tell you what kind of new features will come to the next FarmSim or what I think will come. To find out what's coming in the next FarmSim, I not only consulted my crystal ball, but I also give you reasons why I believe that something will come. So these are well-founded speculations. The next FarmSim will be FS25 or FS26. I know that Giants have been working on the next FarmSim for a while now. This became clear at the last FarmCon when developers often used sentences like that won't come in this FarmSim, but in the next FarmSim. Nothing was announced directly, but overall it became very clear to me that they are already working on the next FarmSim. In addition, no new Season Pass has been announced in December. This also suggests that the coming year will be the last year of FS22. Since the large FarmSim versions always appear in late autumn, I assume that the next FarmSim will be released in November 2024 and will be called FS25. However, there are rumors that Giants aren't quite sure if they'll be able to develop the new FarmSim in time for the end of 2024. According to these rumors, a decision will probably be made at the beginning of 2024 whether they will work towards an FS25 or whether they will hang on for another year and it will then be an FS26. So it remains exciting. I myself would be happy with an FS25 because a new FarmSim is always exciting and offers so many new opportunities to discover. But if they don't make it, I'd probably prefer an FS26 to an unfinished FS25. What do you think about it? Let's come to the first big new feature. Cubs or baby animals. I'm pretty sure there will be young animals in the next FarmSim. We already have theoretical young animals in FS22, so you can buy animals that are 0 months old or older. They get older from month to month and start producing at some point and not before. But you can't see in the FS22 that they are young animals. They look like the adult animals, unless you use certain mods. The next logical step would be to make the young animals visually young, as they are. The adult animals have already been revised in FS22, so next up are young animals and perhaps even male versions of the animals. Since cubs are just cute to look at, I could imagine them becoming the main feature used to promote the next FarmSim. Extended productions. Next, I believe that the productions will be expanded. Productions were a new feature of the base game in FS22 and their functionality is still pretty basic, I think. During the modding question and answer session at FarmCon in Mannheim already, it was confirmed to me that the productions in the next FarmSim would have expanded functions without going into any further detail. I think that the productions will be similar to what is already possible with the mod Production Revamp for PCs. But Giants always does things like that in their own way, so it won't be exactly like Production Revamp, but more fundamentally similar. This means that I expect recipes that can contain an OR. for example something like wheat or barley for flour. And I expect more options for distributing and storing products in the building. Improved helper. I also hope for an improved helper. The helper has got new functions in FS22 so that the helper can drive around on the map and deliver things and the like. But he's still doing it very bumpily so far. So there is still a lot of room for improvement, and the helper is especially important for console players because they cannot use autodrive and cosplay. So Giants can't avoid improving helpers even further. I hope not only to stabilize the driving functions, but above all to improve the helper in the field. How far Giants will get with this remains to be seen. Advanced AI traffic capabilities. I'm expecting advanced AI traffic capabilities. AI traffic refers to the cars driving around on the road. Since this car can overtake in the FS23, I at least expect that in the next big FarmSim. The mobile FarmSim, which releases between the major FarmSim iterations, often has one or two new features that will then be implemented in the next FarmSim. So I think the AI traffic will at least learn to overtake, and that already makes a big difference to the immersion of the game. Autoloading. Especially the console players will look forward to autoloading functions in the base game. This is also speculation based on FS23 features. In FS23, certain trailers have the ability to automatically load pallets. Since countless console players also want this for the big FarmSim, it makes sense to include it in the next FarmSim. It's already programmed, so it shouldn't be too much work doing it. And I can already see the console players dancing and cheering, all the console players who cannot use the previous script-based autoloaders and are often not happy with the tricked-out console autoloaders. No FS25 for old consoles. But now sad news for owners of old consoles. The next FarmSim will probably no longer run on the old consoles PS4 and Xbox One. Even the FS22 only runs with groans and moans on the old consoles. The need for this is regularly confirmed by numerous players of the old console who complain about sluggish gameplay. There is even a rumor that FS22 had already been considered to be made only for the new consoles, but then the new consoles were hardly available and it became unthinkable to leave out the old consoles. But now the new consoles are available and are becoming more and more widespread. Many desired functions on FarmSim are not possible out of consideration for the old consoles, but are increasingly required, for example, a lot of visual improvements. Therefore, the next FarmSim will most likely no longer be available for the old consoles. And there will certainly be new requirements for PCs too, and not all old PCs will be suitable for the next FarmSim. Unfortunately, this is how things go with new games and other software, and it serves to enable the games to continue to develop. More life. Now things are getting happier again. More life should come to the maps. Not only was more life on the maps repeatedly requested, it was also officially announced at FarmCon 23. Here's a short excerpt from the video from the lecture on the history of Farming Simulator.
In welche Richtung sehen wir das Spiel weiterentwickelt?
More interactive worlds is the first of 4 points. You can already see a small foretaste of this on the new Sri Lanka map. The laundry blows in the wind, the factory ventilation shakes and storks fly over the map. I'm excited to see what else awaits us, especially in the area of interactivity. More story. The next officially announced point is more story. Storylines and more interactivity in the FarmSim have been requested for a long time, and it was officially announced at FarmCon 23 that it would be coming to FarmSim. How Giants will implement more story remains to be seen. I expect it will take several FarmSim iterations for these storylines to fully develop. In the next FarmSim, we can expect the basics of more interactivity and storylines. This could perhaps be an expanded mission system and perhaps scenarios where you have to complete tasks to achieve certain goals. More esports. Giants are also planning to give us more esports. We have already experienced more esports than ever in FS22. The esports function have even been integrated into the base game for free for all platforms. But by this I mean the bale stacking challenge and the arena mode. The latter is also celebrated as a league, and the real experts can win great prizes. So there should be more of that. I can't imagine in detail what that might look like, so let's be surprised. Better tutorials. And we should get better in-game tutorials. At FarmCon this was described as easier onboarding. I also think there's an urgent need to make it easier for FarmSim beginners to get started. This includes, among other things, a better and more extensive in-game tutorial. Some time ago, Giants accidentally included an extended scenario in the game file directories. From this, I was able to create an experimental scenario for chickens and one for sheep. Officially, when asked, Giants acted as if there were no scenarios, but probably because it was still far from being ready for release. At least that was my impression when I created my scenarios. But I liked the approach and I think it has a lot of potential. What I would think would be cool would be scenarios that could switch on if necessary, so that you don't get stuck in the beginner tutorials for days, but if you are interested in keeping chickens, do a chicken scenario, and so on. I also think it would be cool if there was a more beginner-friendly mode than the new farmer mode. It is far too complex for the real beginners. More. And there is more to come. That's it for my reasonable speculations, but in my opinion that wasn't everything what will come. I expect that there will be at least one larger spectacular feature in the next FarmSim and numerous smaller new features than I covered in this video. What are you expecting for the next FarmSim? Are you already looking forward to it? Tell me in the comments below this video. I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you for watching and all the best till next time. Tschüss!